He effectively delayed Tesla's being able to continue building out data center and AI infrastructure by 5-6 months.
It's not particularly reassuring if you're a shareholder.
All things considered, he's been a good steward of all these companies.
My dad bought a Tesla. He can't seem to get it. My chief compliance officer bought a Tesla. She's having trouble getting it.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market almost 0.5%, sitting at $175.50. As we take a look at the past 90 days, Tesla stock is down a little over 4%, pretty much trading sideways with an extreme amount of volatility in between. Year to date, Tesla stock almost down 30%. With all of this consolidation, Tesla is probably geared to break one way or the other. And if history serves me, it will be a violent movement.
Amid constant criticism and debate over his leadership, Elon Musk stands by the claim that he can turn Tesla into an AI leader. But new documents reveal he asked NVIDIA to prioritize chip shipments to X, not Tesla. Musk confirming CNBC's reports, explaining the chips would have been backlogged in the Tesla factory. CNBC.com's Laura Kolodny is here to discuss what she's learned. Laura, thanks for joining us. So just take us back to the start here. What exactly happened? What did Musk do?
So in December 2023, Elon Musk ordered NVIDIA to ship 12,000 of these very coveted AI chips, H100 GPUs from NVIDIA, to X instead of to Tesla, when they had been reserved for Tesla. And then in exchange, Tesla would get, the next shipments of chips in January and June. So he effectively delayed Tesla's being able to continue building out data center and AI infrastructure by 5-6 months.
What are we talking about here? Is this what qualifies for news nowadays? He delayed Tesla receiving the H100 chips from NVIDIA? Oh no!
Who paid for the chips, Tesla or X and XAI?
There's still a lot to be reported out here.
Oh, but that doesn't stop you from breaking news, does it? I'm curious, what do you think you know?
Ostensibly, Tesla would have paid for Tesla's chips and X would have paid for X's chips, but maybe Elon Musk can answer that for us.
So we don't know whether Tesla paid for chips that ultimately went to another entity. We don't know that yet. But Musk just stepped in, big-footed the process and said, hey, Tesla's not ready to use these chips, not able to put them to work, but X and XAI are, so send the chips there instead. Is that the nub of it?
He's saying now that Tesla wasn't ready for them. This begs a question as to why X Corp had the resources to, get to work standing up a brand new data center, but Tesla, who's been talking about, developing robo-taxis, very sophisticated computer vision and AI, wouldn't prioritize that and wasn't ready. These delays weren't previously discussed in detail with shareholders.
So because we don't know anything, we're just going to send thousands upon thousands of headlines in the news media talking about how Elon Musk is prioritizing other companies other than Tesla when we don't know the situation at all.
Some breaking news. Musk has taken to X, you'll be surprised to hear, explaining that reports around him directing the shift of H100s that were destined from Tesla to X or XAI were for a very logical reason. Tesla had nowhere to put them. Craig.
Yeah, it maybe stands to some reason, Ed, because you reported just in the last few weeks that Tesla was running behind on building data centers. They're standing these up in Buffalo and in Austin, Texas, where they have their big factory. But this is a case still of an indication within NVIDIA that they're sort of looking askance at some of the things that Musk has been saying about a really important aspect of Tesla's business. This is, after all, sort of where he's steering this company is to self-driving and AI, and really trying to play up that aspect of what Tesla is working on as the fundamental car business really is struggling for the company. So for him to have to address a report like this in the midst of a slowdown in EV demand and this big pivot that he's making toward AI and self-driving development, it's not particularly reassuring if you're a shareholder.
I'm a shareholder, and this doesn't bother me in the slightest. Now, if he were to be redirecting this shipment to Meta for some reason, then I'd be slightly concerned. But XAI, these are going to be integral parts of what Tesla does in the future. If the chips would be better used over there, so be it. In case you didn't know, Tesla in particular has a lot of irons in the fire. You know, ramping up the Cybertruck, which is going to be the most popular pickup truck in America soon. Something tells me there's going to be a refresh of the Model Y quite soon. And oh yeah, they've got this unboxed method of manufacturing that they're trying to iron out as well. So this half-hearted attempt at breaking news only succeeds at peddling misinformation and validating some half-cocked theory about an EV slowdown, or nobody wants Teslas anymore so they don't know what to do with these chips. Get the f*** out of here with that nonsense.
Particularly as we look towards June the 13th and that all-important shareholder vote where Elon Musk seems to be threatening that, look, if you're not going to give me my payday that you promised me several years ago, well, maybe there's more interesting things to be done with AI at different companies than Tesla.
This reinforces that ultimatum that he gave back in January, that he wanted to essentially take his AI and robotics work elsewhere. And we've already seen indications that, you know, he's sort of willing to follow through on that threat that, you know, if I don't control something like 25% of Tesla, I want to work on this stuff at some of my other companies. And with any other CEO, you know, that would maybe not necessarily be taken seriously. It would potentially be viewed as a veiled threat. But this is, after all, someone who runs 6 companies and, you know, has been standing up an AI company, an XAI, that is, you know, closely tied to X, formerly known as Twitter, and does have, you know, a significant amount of work that it's trying to do with, you know, large language models and essentially, you know, trying to, you know, build X up into a company that was worth the investment that he and some of his fellow stakeholders made in what was formerly Twitter.
And that's the real reason why this breaking news broke. Because the annual shareholder meeting is around the corner and this is an historic vote. Fear-mongering about whether or not Elon Musk is going to divert life-saving AI potential to other companies for no other reason than to put a thumb in the shareholder's eye is preposterous. The most logical reason is oftentimes the best reason to go with. A significant portion of this man's wealth is tied into Tesla. The success of this automobile company will undoubtedly benefit from all of his other surrounding companies. The prosperity of X and XAI will directly benefit Tesla, especially when they're trying to integrate interfaces for their robotaxis and Optimus. Or maybe they'll just use something that ChatGPT has cooked up. My problem isn't that they're reporting on these stories, it's just that they're not making the most logical conclusions when they're talking about it. Everything seems to be an existential crisis.
George, we're talking Tesla. Kind of wanted to bring this one up. It's down nearly 30% so far this year. Elon Musk prioritizing maybe deliveries of his chips and moving them to X as opposed to Tesla. But we've been hearing those rumors recently that, hey, sales of EVs are really falling, especially for Tesla, not only here, but overseas also.
I think if you look at the automotive revenues and automotive margins, which were down from a growth standpoint about 26% over the last year, looking at the stock price, which is down about 30%, that actually might be, of course, justified considering that they've cut prices aggressively. That's cut into total revenues at the automotive level. And, of course, also from a net income standpoint, it's cut into their earnings growth. But, you know, if you think about Tesla, it's really going on. What's going on with the company is all their other revenues. And this includes, you know, the supercharger stations. Their elements behind the autonomous driving, I think, are extremely important for the company going forward. But, you know, ideally speaking, they're trying to hit lower price points for their automobiles. They're essentially trying to, you know, broach, or if you will, appease, you know, both ends of the market. It's obviously the Cybertruck, which is more of a novelty item, very expensive.
Until it's not.
Now they're trying to develop, and perhaps going to be unveiling soon, a compact car, which is more affordable at the sub $25,000 level. So when I think about Tesla, especially right now, considering, I mean, if you look at the last 5 years, the stock is still up over 1,300%. It's really had a bad year price-wise, but it's also had a bad year from an earnings growth standpoint, where EBITDA actually contracted in sales from a automotive standpoint. We're down last quarter compared to the same quarter for the previous year. So I think Tesla going forward is going to be all about licensing its FSD, or full self-driving technologies, which again, they are a leader. If you look at the cumulative miles driven in terms of data collection for FSD, you know, we talk about artificial intelligence and large learning language models, or LLMs. Tesla's the leader in this because they've collected huge amounts of data.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell him what he's won, Johnny. Your mother. Right. Data is king, and you best believe when Tesla is ready for those NVIDIA chips, they will be put to good use. All of this talk about, oh, Tesla sales are down, their revenues are down, this, that, and the other. It seems like everybody's forgetting that this is a relatively new technology to be made at scale. Innovations are happening at a pace that the automotive industry just couldn't possibly expect. And you have a choice. You can either continue to make the vehicles the way you always have been, but if you're not constantly trying to disrupt yourself, someone will be happy to do so. Tesla is actively trying to create a new manufacturing method that will blow the doors off of anything that's ever been done before, with aspirations of reducing the cost by about 40 to 50%. Now, is that worth a slowdown in Tesla vehicle production? You bet your it is. It is true that Tesla will be licensing the FSD software to many of auto manufacturers. But don't get it twisted. They will be the largest manufacturer of automobiles in a decade's time.
And it looks like potentially going into August, they'll be launching the first version of the robo-taxi. So I think that's going to be a catalyst for the stock.
I am eagerly awaiting for the date of August 8th.
For its ability to expand in terms of its multiple. Because we've looked at NVIDIA, it's been a tremendous, productivity gain that is being priced in for NVIDIA and artificial intelligence. You have to think about autonomous driving. That's a massive productivity gain, and I think Tesla is going to be the primary beneficiary of it.
You're damn right.
Teardrops and tidal waves. Why should a Tesla investor care about this report? It came out of CNBC that they're moving inventory from one business to another. If nothing else, don't we trust Elon Musk to make the best decisions for the slew of companies that he owns? And all things considered, he's been a good steward of all these companies doing the best job. Why do we care about the minutia? And by the way, why is an NVIDIA email being leaked to the media?
I think if you look at this news, it's news. I don't think it's really meaningful from the standpoint of Tesla or X in terms of allocating capital, or physical capital in this case, that Elon Musk has, or his group of companies has, in terms of their NVIDIA chips. I think it's more of a headline. Obviously headlines are being generated because of AI, NVIDIA, and I think that's what it is. Other than that, I don't think it's really meaningful, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I think
You think?
We have some interesting developments from the world of Elon Musk because, of course we do. CNBC publishing a scoop that Elon Musk had directed NVIDIA to ship thousands of semiconductors that were meant for Tesla to instead be sent to X and XAI. Those, of course, two other companies that Musk owns. And guess what? Musk responded to the article. He said on X that he simply made the change because Tesla does not have the physical space to store all the chips that were ordered. Apparently, he also didn't like the article. Anyway, given Musk's investment in his business empire, is he favoring maybe other companies, other babies, over Tesla? Joining us now is Gerber Kawasaki President and CEO Ross Gerber.
Something tells me Ross is going to blow this out of proportion. I don't know. Let's see what we got.
I mean, listen, we'll take any just boring story that would be boring any other day. When you add Elon Musk's name to it, it instantly becomes interesting. Do you have a hot take on this scoop?
I mean, you had the hot take on the scoop. I mean, I'm waking up and reading your article. That's obviously new information and a continuation.
It wasn't mine. It was Laura Kolodny. And Musk,
right. Well,
Musk kind of name-checked her
because
he wasn't happy with the article.
Yeah, no, but I mean, obviously it was true because he responded to it, and whatever take you want to make of it or whatever Elon's thinking, isn't really what I'm trying to do. I'm an investor in Tesla, so it doesn't feel good because I've walked Gigafactory Austin, and it's like 17 miles long or something.
Yeah.
To say that you don't have room for something is a weird excuse for the biggest factory I've ever seen ever.
Seriously? I mean, I could put the lawnmower in the kitchen, but something tells me it's not going to get a lot of use there. Ideally, you'd like to have the lawnmower in use and not just sitting around anyway. Just because there's space, it probably doesn't mean that's the best use of what's going on right now.
But that said, there's a lot of work that needs to be done at Tesla, just the day-to-day stuff. My dad bought a Tesla. He can't seem to get it. My chief compliance officer bought a Tesla. She's having trouble getting it. They're short-staffed. People want their cars. So yeah, Tesla's kind of the bottom of the pecking hole of Elon's companies.
People want their cars. Wait, I think I just heard someone say that there's an EV slowdown. All these people in Ross's inner circle, despite Elon Musk being a bad man, can't get their vehicles fast enough.
How important, and I think the story is interesting for me, not because he might have moved some semiconductors around because of room or not, whatever. It's how important is AI to Tesla from an investing perspective. I understand how big AI is, but I don't think I'm fully there on the car side.
Okay, so let's just get into this for a second. So Tesla fundamentally sells electric vehicles that are autonomous, okay?
At least that's what they're aspiring to do. FSD is currently in a beta form, doing really, really well, mind you. Acquiring vast amounts of data with every vehicle on the road, funneling that data into these neural nets that is going to teach the vehicle how to drive properly, correcting mistakes, improving behaviors, finding corner cases that just won't be found in simulation practices. The real world is just a little more nutty than we can imagine.
What Elon has done is he's decided he doesn't like this job or model anymore, and he wants to pivot to robotics, this robo-taxi idea, along with robots themselves, by going all in on on AI. And full self-driving is one solution of AI. So by using XAI, he controls the brains that would control everything else. And that's what this is all about with his pay package, where he spent a fortune of time and money trying to lobby for his pay package, at the same time diverting chips away from Tesla AI to XAI. So it's very clear what the motivations are here. As an investor, I've done what I need to do, and I've had to sell a lot of my Tesla stock.
Apparently not enough. In conclusion, 6 months ago, I guess Elon said, no, those chips that were going to go to Tesla, send that shipment to XXAI. Tesla should be ready for the next batch. What's the problem here? I'll tell you what the problem is. The vote is of grave importance. Whether or not Elon Musk gets his money, or the board members are retained, or if Tesla moves its incorporation to Texas, those proposals have some weight to it. But more importantly, how the vote shakes out is essentially a temperature check on how much confidence shareholders have in Elon Musk. There is a lot of fear and a lack of understanding from institutional investors regarding this company. Tesla has not only survived when many people thought the company was going to go bankrupt, this is the most valuable automotive company in the world, and it ain't even close. A large part of it has to do with its versatility, energy, supercharging infrastructure, vehicle automation, a humanoid robot. Tesla doesn't do anything in a typical fashion, and that scares people that likes things to have some normalcy. When you're disrupting entire industries, normalcy cannot be in the equation. How these votes go will be a huge indicator on how the shareholders feel about the direction of the company in general. And I believe many an institutional shareholder would just rather Tesla build cars, regardless of the innovation in the space, simply because Tesla has a winning formula at the moment. This mentality is what's going to cause many of the legacy auto manufacturers to go extinct. Don't rock the boat. Continue to do what's made you successful. If you don't disrupt yourself, someone will be glad to do it for you. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.